Please take your seats. Our program will begin shortly. At this time, please silence all mobile devices.
suffer for me, but I don't feel. If the world would forever bloom into life's never-ending trove, I'll be more free and transparent. However, that is a matrix. That is a matrix. That is a matrix. That is the matrix. I make it hard trying to find the time to be there for those who'll be in my life. It feels like a give and take to them, but I'm one step ahead. Walking on a beam, it gets hard to see where balance can be found. Trying to fix these broken pieces, but there's so many problems for me to go and solve them. That is a matrix. That is a matrix. That is a matrix. That is the matrix. That is a matrix.
Please welcome to the stage from Samsung, Ivy Cho.
Hello, and welcome to Samsung 837. My name is Ivy Cho. I am on Samsung's public relations team, and I am so excited to be taking you with us through 837 Next, which is our series of events this week featuring live panels, discussions, performances, and more. So we are very proud to be bringing together a community of NFT artists, creators, and emerging tech innovators during the 4th annual NFT NYC Week. So with that, thank you all so much for being here with us on day one. I love Samsung 837 in the heart of New York City's meatpacking district. I honestly still pinch myself every day that I get to work here. And so for those who are joining us from the metaverse and our brand new Discord channel, thank you so much for tuning in. So as a little background before we dive in today, we built this flagship experience store in 2016, not only as a place to showcase Samsung's latest and greatest, so if you guys haven't checked out our brand new frame TVs, I highly recommend, but it's also a hub where art, culture, fashion, gaming, and tech collide. And because we're seeing this happen in the NFT space as well, it is only natural we are celebrating what's next in the industry right here at 837. So for those of us here, IRL, not in the metaverse or Discord, as you entered, I hope you had the chance to check out the amazing art displayed on our beautiful screens. So this is the work of Art Republic, a leading digital curation agency. And so to kick off our event series, I'm very happy to be introducing Jessica Santiago, CEO of Art Republic, who will be hosting a panel. Yay! Yes. Welcome, Jessica. So yeah, she will be hosting a panel with the talented creators behind the artwork. And so with that, I will hand it over to Jessica. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I am very excited to bring up to the stage Micah Adams from Algorand Foundation. Michael, whose film you actually just got to see. That was the premiere of Michael Iziwazu's film. Greg Kresnitz from Stowe, and Ben Heim, an Art Republic visual artist. So this is our third series with Samsung. Art Republic is a curation agency. We've specialized in representing contemporary digital artists since 2015. We could not be more proud to have been such a huge player in this movement way before we had access to technology like Algorand and NFTs and these platforms that have allowed artists to completely transform their careers. So this partnership with Samsung has been so incredible and meaningful for us and has helped us to launch new artists' works like the film premiere we just got to see, to introduce artists to the communities that are interested in NFTs. So we are just ecstatic to be a part of NFT NYC in this way. So I want to open up with having each of our panelists just share a little bit about themselves and introduce themselves to you guys.
Hello, my name is Micah. I'm also known as Anansi, that's my artist name. I started off actually in American football, which I know is weird because I have an English accent, but I promise you I'm cold. I'm also a music artist, been an artist for years, had a music business, started at the same time as when the crypto boom happened. So I had a marketing company for music and also for crypto. Ended up coming to Algorand Foundation because they have the best tech out. And I'm now there doing a lot of the marketing stuff and working with a lot of, I see a lot of friendly faces and a lot of people in the ecosystem. And I promise you, if you're a creator and you want to create, there's only one place to do it, and that's Algorand.
How you guys doing? My name is Michael Osewusu, Indigo Suave, in terms of artistry name. I'm a film director, visual artist, just finished graduating school, so finally can devote all my time to this, and just grateful for Art Republic, Samsung for just being able to support artists, and it's just something that you really need, and it's something that they're doing for us, and it's just a grateful opportunity, and it's incredible. So just happy to be here, happy to be in the moment.
we get one more round of applause for the premiere? That video was amazing. My name is Greg. I'm the Chief Growth Officer for NCC. We are a dApp studio building Web3 infrastructure for the creator economy on the Algorand blockchain. Thank you, Jessica, for having us. Thank you, Algorand, for having us. I'm also the co-founding DAO member of Stoey, which is the song that owns itself, which is a micro DAO that handles tokenized fractionalized ownership, which I'm sure we'll talk more about, and just excited to be here and sitting among artists. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Ben Heim. I'm an Australian audiovisual artist and composer, and this is actually my artwork that is up right now, very conveniently. So I create NFTs, generative art, so all my artworks are generative. I create patches that constantly evolve, making new artwork endlessly forever, and I'm just very happy to be talking about all the new technology that NFTs afford us, all the new possibilities we can have as artists, and a big thanks to Jessica, Art Republic, Algorand, Samsung for having us all.
So as I mentioned before, we have been representing digital artists for quite a long time. And I got to really see the real need for technology, the technology to begin to allow them to be able to have collectors. Back in about at least 2017, we really started to think about it much deeper. At the time, Art Republic would be working mostly on corporate sponsorships to help these artists to produce large-scale exhibitions. Most of them were working for other performers. They were either creating visuals for concerts or for brand campaign work, but in the back of in their own free time, they were creating their own work that they wanted one day to become known for under their own name. And so we began looking at that when I would have these big shows. I remember we would have the work on a USB drive and we would take it to the production company and be like, can you delete that in front of me? Because one day that work's gonna be really valuable and I don't need you showing it at like somebody's wedding, you know, just randomly. So we really felt the need that we have got to have technology to protect this work so that it can really protect its value. And so when I started studying blockchain and was just fascinated by what the potential was for it to completely transform not only art, but just the world in general, but especially for creators. So we spent the next few years really understanding them, working with other platforms, looking at them, and I started writing our own roadmap because we were doing it from a real place of need, like we know what it needs to do. And one of my mentors looked at me and said, you know, you need to go think a little bit deeper. You work B2B, you're always helping brands and institutions connect with artists. And so you really need to be thinking about the solution from that point. And so I waited and waited, and we kept working these other platforms and watching the industry evolve, feeling like, man, I'm missing out. I'm missing out on all of this, and we should have been right on the leading edge. We should have our marketplace already. And then a friend of mine told me about Algorand. And I was like, this is why. This is why I didn't do it with what I already knew, because long term, this technology is so far superior to what we have seen that's just been mass adopted. Because yes, I mean, there were steps in going from Bitcoin to Ethereum and to these other solutions that we have. But for us, with our focus being protecting artworks, growing the artworks to the highest value they can be, and making sure that the collectors are protected, we found that there was just not a solution like Algorand. So I would like for Micah to expand on the tech itself, why it's so special, and what they're doing for creators specifically.
So before I go into the tech at Algorand, I think what's important is the mindset of the people that make the tech. And what I mean by that is when hip-hop first started in the industry, there was a huge demand of the artist that was overrun from the supply of how many songs were coming out. So what that created is loads of labels, loads of managers who didn't care about the artist, and they were just trying to get as many people as they could, as many hip-hop tracks as they could, because they knew it was trending, they knew it was cool, right? And because they did that, they didn't actually care about the artist. So what you have is you have a world in which everyone's trying to make a quick buck, and those are the people that tend to rise to the top in certain music industries because of how fast-paced the money is, right? And because that's the mindset of the people that are being elevated, that's where you start getting the bad contracts. That's where you start getting the bad mindsets. That's where you start getting the destructive mentalities of keeping the artist down. However, at Algorand, you're talking about something that has really cared about not having any downtime, which means it never goes down. There's never an issue where it just doesn't work for 3 hours. It doesn't fork, which means it can't be copied and just pasted, and someone else, if you come out with a Greg NFT, someone's doing Greg, but they split the E with a 3 and suddenly they're taking all the money. Like, that's just not possible. So if you look at the technology and also the mindset of the people that built it, they've built it to last. So when they work with creators and content creators, they're working with them to last. And you see all the time, I notice it a lot from music business. I can see when an artist is with a label that wants to make a quick buck over him, make a little bit of money over summer, and when they're with someone that's built to last. And if you see everything that we've done at Algorand in terms of how we've built the technology, in terms of how we've worked in the trilemma, which is our ability to make sure that whilst we're giving you a great service, it's also fast, there's not going to be downtime, and everyone can get involved no matter where you are in the world. You've got a mindset of people that care. So when artists come and content creators come, it's not how can you do something quickly for me right now. It's how can we build a relationship that lasts over the next few years and changes what's happening. You're really not going to get that anywhere else because they haven't built with care. So they're not going to build with care with their business strategy either. So whilst our technology is super important, the mindset of the people that built the technology mean that your work is safer.
So Michael, that speaks to what is so necessary as a new artist moving into film NFTs. I mean, the film industry, I'm so excited about the transformation that will take place through this technology. But can you just speak to what it means to you? Like when Michael reached out to me and through email, shared his piece with me, I called him the moment after I watched it about 3 times, called him right away and said, we're showing this at our NFT NYC program. And but I had already been thinking about, okay, we work with moving artists into the space, other mediums, even though we specialize in contemporary digital art, that's also photography and film and music. So can you just speak to what you see as how much this technology can empower you or how it's changed your mindset already?
Yeah, I mean, what it really does is that it provides an opportunity for artists. And it provides an opportunity for artists across all mediums, all digital media. It can be photography, film. And the brilliant part is that, people can see your value in your work and they can invest in you, and that's something that has been lost through time because, art used to be something that was everybody would know about. But slowly it's been kind of degraded through entertainment, money, and this provides, digital art provides an opportunity for so many artists to actually showcase their work and it have value, and, just the fact that Algorand has the ability to just see that, and being able to see that this is something that can build through time, right? Because the best things happen through time and patience. And by always having that mindset, you share a vision with other people, and that's just the best part about it. So it's providing a whole new industry and opportunity for so many independent artists. So it's just a really exciting time because we're really seeing it start now, almost like a digital renaissance, I like to say. So it's very exciting for the people that are able to see it, and I'm just blessed to be, as I say again, to have this opportunity. So, yeah.
Can you share about the inspiration behind the piece? I know it was you've poured so much of your heart and soul into it over a very long period of time. Can you share about the process?
Yeah, I mean, the process began in quarantine, believe it or not. It's only about a 5-minute, 45-second video, but it took over a year and a half to complete. And it's one of those things where, one thing I always say that's very important is that, if you try to sacrifice time, with trying to be quick, you'll always lose some type of quality, and that's something that I kept realizing with this project. The more time I take with it, the more patient I am, the more it will evolve on its own. And, and that's something that really happened. And the people I was able to work with, you know, the producer, the singer, you know, it was just really brilliant, you know, just the entire process of it. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk too much, you know. I could go on forever, really. So
Ben, can you share? Ben's been working in a medium and so multi-medium, film, composer, audio-visual experiences, AI, immersive art. We share a love and a passion for immersive art. I truly believe that, you know, we've gone through so many different phases of this whole crypto NFT phenomenon already, but we've had, you know, the PFP projects, the crypto art, generative art. I am deeply passionate in that artists who have an ability to alter our perception, our senses, alter our sense of being, create a sense of presence, are going to be the next most important artists that collectors are looking towards. They already are. They have been for many years, but I think they're going to really have their spotlight soon. And you are one of the leading artists in that space and knowledgeable. Can you talk about your work and how you began moving into that medium?
Yeah, totally. So I came into the visual space a kind of a strange way. My mother's side of the family are all artists, and I was cheated somehow out of the genetic ability to draw. So I abandoned the visual world and became a composer. And I worked on film scores. I studied classical composition for orchestras and stuff like that. But the visual side really came when I started doing these immersive concerts, immersive events. We would fill like an abandoned reservoir with surround sound, have performances in there, and I kept just wanting to add projections. I was just like, wouldn't it be great if there was just visual art that went along with the music? And that led me to a software called Touch Designer, which allows you to create generative real-time art. So my art, which you can see up here, it's created in real time. It's generated at like around 60 frames, recently at 120 frames per second, and every frame is generated in real time, and that allows for immersive experiences because you can connect, if the visual is being generated in real time, you can connect interaction to that. You can make audio influence it, you can make the internet influence it, you can make like sensors influence it, just like any kind of integration. You can have robots integrating, you can have so many things. And so I started working in this medium because of the audio, but then ended up branching out into this whole like generative, immersive space. And it's sort of hard to communicate to audiences how generative it really is, because it renders on my computer, and I sit in my room and I watch it on my computer rendering on my graphics card, and I'm like, oh, this is great, but nobody really understands that it's this endless medium. And NFTs allow so many opportunities to sort of take people into that experience, whether it is a purely generative work that I can render like 100 videos and everybody can buy a single unique video for themselves, or 100 photos or prints, or just still NFTs for people to purchase, which has been a huge movement within the NFT community with generative projects like Art Blocks and other organizations like that, really capitalizing on the generative ability of NFTs. But yeah, as Jessica was said, moving into this immersive space, there's so much you can do with NFTs, because I really like real world experiences, like experiencing art on these huge screens, but like NFTs we can use as a way to capture that experience. People can purchase NFTs representative of real world experiences they've had. So there's just so many new ways we can use the technology like that.
Amazing. So, Greg, you are at the cornerstone of how artists are able to use this technology and in such innovative ways. Can you talk about how you got into that? Like, what was the inspiration of moving into more of supporting creators, and what the technology is actually capable of?
Yeah, Mike and I were talking about this last night. So there's this thing in Europe called droit de suite, which is the moral right. Essentially, artists are given, and their heirs or designated heirs are given percentages in perpetuity of rights to their work, and it's started in the 1850s, and I encourage you to look it up. they tried to do this in America and legislation wouldn't pass. They tried to do it in California and legislation wouldn't pass. And it's pretty significant of what that means for people who create value. I read about blockchain in 2017, this great book called Blockchain Revolution, and read about smart contracts, and was floored because it was the first time I could see how artists could be protected without government intervention. The question then was, how do you get provenance on a blockchain, pre-NFTs, things along those lines. So it's a pretty powerful technology, and it just gives the rights to the artists, essentially, if they want to get on that path. And I think you'll see some trad art moving into that as well. But there's this whole world of people who just live in the online space and have great communities and great fans. So you said something that was super interesting about protecting the work. I think Stowy and the tools that we build is protecting the ecosystem. I think different people bring different values to it. I think artists are primarily the ones that drive it, but if they've got a good team or an amazing gallery or a great partner, they should all have the fair accruement of value. So Stowy does that. So Stowy is tokenized fractionalized ownership. It's utility tokens. It's essentially after you do the NFT or you spin up a collective, what do you do? So you give a percentage to the creators, to their teams, to the galleries, and also to the fans, and everyone plays a role in it. We had originally made Stowy on Ethereum, and it didn't work at scale. And so we actually looked for an L1 that could do things that were fast, secure, and almost free, because cost is a barrier to entry. I think as a new artist, I don't need to tell you, like, it's fine, but then you have to go get a lawyer, and you have to go get someone to read over it. Algorand makes it really, really cheap, and Web3 and smart contracts also level the playing field where talent is democratized, and talent just like rises to the surface. So I find it like quite important, and we at NCC and Stowy find it quite important to give those tools and those resources to people. Do with it what they may. If they use it correctly, great. If they don't, if they want to give away their tokens, 51% of their tokens to the wrong person, that's up to them. But the tokens are given to the creator to give to people that bring value. And hopefully, over time, they'll find the right models that work best for them.
That was honestly one of the, after looking at our own particular use case for it, when I heard this TED Talks and a gentleman was talking about how an artist could move beyond labels and actually just drop an NFT and be able to have all the investment that they needed directly from their fans, I was absolutely floored. I mean, we work so hard at these, dynamics where you're creating something, but the people who are actually sometimes funding it don't truly understand or believe in it or understand like what the journey is like to get from the beginning to the finish line. And I think just being able to actually be in business with your fans is going to change the world fundamentally. I mean, the creativity that will come out of that.
You can make a Stowy, and what we're working towards is being able to sell a Stowy to fund your next project or your next round of work, or just to be like, if you like me and you want me to see me do our work, fund my sabbatical, fund a research project, and being able to have that direct interaction and that direct resources without the rent seekers, it's fundamentally different, and the leverage is completely different. Before, where you would have, like you said, with brands, the leverage is so wrong. You're going to people with big checks, and you're kind of like in their service. As Chris Dixon talks about the 1,000 most passionate percentile, you get 1,000 people who are buying or small pieces of you. You still retain the leverage, and they're just happy to be along for the ride. It's a completely different dynamic than anything that we have seen in the past at extreme scale. I do have to say thank you to Algorand for funding Stowy. They did give us a grant for it, so we're deeply appreciative of believing in the technology, but it's creatives and creative ecosystems first.
Ben, we were speaking earlier today about the potential of, just specifically with film. I had not heard somebody present it the way that you did, so can you share some of those insights?
Oh, what did I say?
The nuances
I do.
of how
I do
far
remember.
it can go.
Yeah. I think that film is an incredible use case for democratizing funding of large-scale projects, because, I mean, I've worked in the film industry for a couple of years, and it is a behemoth. It is so large, and there are so many moving parts, so many people that need to be paid, and it's previously people don't really understand what they're funding when they're funding a film. And NFTs really allowed you to fractionalize, break things down in ways that you hadn't thought possible before, because you can NFT certain objects from the film. So so I was talking about things like, oh, you could NFT each character in the film, and you would have a backer that owns each character, or they could fund the audio, they could fund the soundtrack, they could fund the visual effects if they wanted, they could fund cinematography, because these are like niche areas that people are really passionate about. Like I've seen people like so passionate about cinematography, or even a smaller level, like color grading. There are people just so into color grading, and they might just want to support this small part of the film. And with NFTs, you can break down projects in so many different ways to allow people into the experience with you. They could own scenes, they could own props, they could own all of these kind of things as NFTs and be like, oh yeah, look, that's my prop in the film. I own the NFT of that. And it's just a really interesting way of integrating people into funding these projects.
I love that. Love that. And we heard about the, Bored Apes being able to put their characters in there. The first time I heard that, I was like, man, how crazy would it be to like own Superman? Like that's like my character. That'd be crazy. What are your thoughts, Michael, on, about how this could transform the film industry?
It could be used in so many different ways. Like so many different ways. As he said, you could like imagine owning the NFT version of Obi-Wan's lightsaber. Like that's something that it's all about being able to use it in the right way, and I'm still so new to this space where like I be reading other people in the film industry and how they use it. I'm just like, wow, that's a very creative way in terms of like creating a budget, or how many people could own the film and actually have rights to it, and the fans could actually have distribution rights where everybody gets money. So it's just there's so many ways that it's still so amateur right now, and it's just about how it can be used, and finding that and utilizing it to the best it can be, So I'm very young in this as well as many other people. So I can't even give you a great answer because I'm still trying to understand it, So it's limitless. Like I really think it broadens the scope of what you can accomplish and achieve. So
Definitely. So in closing, I would like to see if each of you could just share what are some of the thoughts, and what matter which medium it might be attached to, but what would be some of the highest and best possibilities or use cases? Like where can this go?
Yeah, I'll start on that. So, I think it's really exciting for me. Obviously, at Algorand Foundation, we get to see it all, and to kind of take a little bit of a backseat, because I'm seeing some faces nodding, some faces not too sure. So to give a little bit of a debrief of what it actually could mean for the industry. An NFT is no different in terms of a mindset than creating money. So in the same way that you have cash, which says, I hereby, deliver this much money to someone, you owe the bearer £10, but it's not actually £10. You have an agreement with the money that says that is the value of £10, which helps a lot, because nowadays if we want to go to McDonald's, you don't have to sell them free chickens to get the price of a burger, right? So you are able to give your money in a way to say, I own this, right? An NFT does the same thing for you at a level for your art, where instead of having to trade your art even for money, or trade your art for, what the funny one they always say, for exposure, or to trade your art for, the right to get somewhere. Now with an NFT, you're able to take all the business things that big businesses have been able to do and do that yourself for someone. Doesn't even have to be in your country. It could be all over the world. And by creating the contract, you can now, in the same way that your money gives you access to be able to earn £10 or £20, you can now go all over the world and have someone earn 20% of your next project, 30% of your next project, and create a contract that is online, that is neutral, that isn't owned by anyone, that keeps it completely safe. So for us in the industry, what we can do with it is so exciting, because now what we've done is we've allowed artists to be able to create themselves. There was a time when even getting a pen and a pencil and paper was hard, right? And then now we've allowed artists to be able to sell themselves, and now we're allowing artists to monetize and become businesses themselves, which is really what all artists have wanted to be able to do. A lot of the time you don't want the middleman. The middleman is forced upon you to try and make money. Now we're taking that away and giving the power back to the artist. So no matter where you are, if you've got a creative idea, you no longer have to just do it for exposure. We can work out how to make it mean something for you financially.
Yeah, I want to build up on that because I feel like a lot of people don't realize what a revolution blockchain is for digital artists, because we were creating art and there was no way to sell it. Like, people didn't understand, like, what, I'm supposed to pay money for a JPEG? Like, I'll pay for a painting, but a JPEG? No. Or like a video file, like, what are you gonna do? Like, send me it on I'm just gonna copy it. And what NFTs do, and at the very core, is they just allow the trading of digital assets, which is, in retrospect, like, we had to get to this point. So much of what we do is online, in social media and everything. We had to come to a point eventually where we could place monetary value on digital assets, but like, nobody really saw it coming, and it was just like, NFTs are there, and now digital assets have value, and that is incredibly, incredibly important in the way humanity evolves, I think.
We're going to end with the artist. I'm not going to go last. So at NCC, we build with people, not for people. So when we built Stoa, it started as a song that owns itself, but it's essentially anything can be put as a Stoa. And we built it with this artist, Justin Beretta, Superposition, and his management team, which led to some pretty complicated conversations around what they wanted. But it allowed us to go from him to Jesse Boykins III, and the last one we did was DMC from Run DMC. So, and tonight we'll do one with Dave East. So in 4 very quick succession, we were able to get, the upper echelon of music because we built tools that essentially are what artists and creatives and their teams actually need. So my answer to your question is, like, you tell us. You can go to stowy.org and you write it, and I'll answer it because I answer all those emails. And you tell us what you want. Don't be bound by technology, and don't be bound by, like, the protocols or your understanding. Tell us what you want, and then we can go and build it, and that's what's going to be exciting. The stuff that you were just saying, I was like, okay, yeah, amazing. Like, I definitely want to help the people who are into color grading get access to, like, the best color grader in the world, because they're going to want to have a Discord together. Like, that's amazing. Technology allows for that. So, like, let's chat about that afterwards, please. So I think just, like, that type of open lines of communication and whatever needs to be built using this, like I said, protects the ecosystem is what we're interested in seeing next.
I guess to end off of basically everybody, what they've been saying is we're really in the beginning of something, and we're really going to see it grow over time. We see the creative power it gives digital artists. The question is now, what's next after that? And its utility there's so much utility for it, and it's something that we'll have to just wait and see, and it's the beginning of something special. It's the beginning of something completely new that we haven't seen before. So
I agree. I think, we obviously know that the technology is going to help and is already helping artists reach their highest potential. One of the things that I really contemplate a lot is how much that helps art as a whole reach its highest potential. Art, because it started off, when you look, there was a time when art was only commissioned within the church. So artists had no option but to paint biblical scenes. And then we moved into the Impressionist movement. It was radical to think that they could paint something that was in their mind and something that was dreamlike. And then we've gone through all of these other transformations, but to think about what artists can create from a sense of no limits, from a sense of no lack, no more starving artists, no more, well, I have to do it like this or like that, or this person wants this of me and I have to do this just to pay the bills. I think I'm so excited to see where art goes. I obviously, at Art Republic, our ethos is the merging of art technology for wellness. All of our artists you meet today, they have deep purpose. They care about humanity. They care deeply about people. We don't tend to focus on work that is highly polarizing or activist. There is a place for that, absolutely, but the collective that we have is genuinely looking to evolve consciousness as a whole, to evolve people's state of being. So I think that we have the potential to see art reach its full potential. And with that, want you all to be able to know that you can check out this work, you can spend more time with it. It's here throughout the entire store, but it also is in our new marketplace at artrepublicglobal.com, built on Algorand. So you will have a beautiful, seamless, quick transaction experience there if you're looking to collect, and definitely be able to keep up with us and these artists and follow their new works and where all of this will take us. Thank you for being here.
You have to regard yourself as a cloud in the flesh, because you see, clouds never make mistakes. Did you ever see a cloud that was misshapen? Did you ever see a badly designed wave? No, they always do the right thing. Now, so as a matter of fact do we, because we are natural beings, just like clouds and waves. But if you will treat yourself for a while as a cloud or wave, realization, without overcompensating in the other direction, you will come to the point where you begin to be on good terms with your own being.
Alrighty, thank you to Jessica and all the amazing creators. It's so cool to hear how NFTs are kind of changing the art world. And thank you everyone who joined us in real life here. And for everybody in Discord and the Metaverse, please join us again later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern for another panel that we're hosting actually with Axie Infinity, which is the NFT-based online video game that pioneered the play-to-earn gaming concept. So we'll be talking all about the past, present, and future of gaming. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Discord at Samsung US to get all the latest for A37Next. And please join us. We will be here all week. Thank you. See you soon.